So, what's really funny here is if you have been following anything with the draft, right, you already know the two players that we all want is going to either be Brock Bowers or some right tackle in this draft. Right tackle or D tackle. Those are three options for most of, Bengals fans when it comes to what they want. So, we're going to hear today Chase Daniels, ex-quarterback in the NFL, explain why it makes so much sense for the Cincinnati Bengals to take Brock Bowers, which is ironically enough because I think just the fact of how good of a tight end he is automatically makes him a 100% go, go, go get him. But I do have to go ahead and put up this thing on the screen here to block half the screen because he is going to show footage. So let's go ahead and listen up what Chase Daniels has to say.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not? I don't know if he's going to fall to 17 or 18. The biggest question for me, is he going to be there? Will they trade up? But when you look at Brock Bowers and you just look at the tape, like he has a rare blend of speed, agility, acceleration, body control, has a lean frame. He can actually add some weight to him as to help him with a blocker. But this is what it is, man. The yak. He reminds me, catching the football and after the catch, of George Kittle. Yes, I said George Kittle because he is a playmaking threat like that, like perennial Pro Bowl type guy. The question is he going to go in the top 10? If he's not, there's a lot of other skill players like a receiver, quarterbacks, offensive tackles. And if he's around there in that 12 to 14 range, are the Bengals going to go up and get him? Because the Bengals have no tight ends whatsoever. Can you pair him with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and obviously Joe Burrow? I would love to see it. I'm sure Cincy fans would love it.
I'm still 100% convinced, and it's maybe a little bit because of the fact that Daniel Jeremiah went into a whole entire rant about how GMs refused to go ahead and draft their tight end early because of how much it would cost them on their rookie contract. Which, again, if you guys missed that video, pretty much Daniel Jeremiah said that, why would I draft a tight end in the first round when I had to pay him $7 million? The point of first-round picks is to have a player on a rookie contract that helps you out. When you look at the fact of George Kittle making $9 million a year, and if you draft Brock Bowers in the first round, he's making $7 million if you drop him top 10. 7 million, 9 million. You're not really helping yourself out in a rookie contract rather than taking someone like Joe Odd, a quarterback, or another position where, you're going to have him for the next 4 years on a smaller contract. And you can really, maximize the fact that you have this guy on a rookie contract. So that's the whole reason why he's going to fall, is because no one wants to pay a tight end $7 million when the top tight end's making $9 million. Because if that tight end becomes a bust, you're paying a bust $7 million a year. So that's the whole dilemma / issue and why people are thinking he's going to drop to us. And that's why Daniel Jeremiah has made a whole entire argument of why he's going to be available when we pick. Because if there is any run on quarterbacks, which I believe there will be. I believe there will be teams that trade up and get some of these quarterbacks, especially after the combine. I mean, Michael Penix, his medicals came back and he looks pretty damn good. Same thing with Daniels. There's a lot of quarterbacks who, from this combine, their medicals came back and they looked pretty damn good. They also were throwing the ball pretty well at the combine. It raises the draft stock. It raises teams' interest in them. And when that happens, what you're going to have is teams trading up, trying to get these said individuals, said players. Bam. Tight ends will drop. Tight ends drop if there's a run on offensive linemen like Fuaga. Mims had a fantastic combine. I know he had a hamstring thing, so he couldn't continue his amazingness. But again, if there's a run on tackles, there's a run on quarterbacks, there's a receiver to get drafted early, Brock Bowers, he starts dropping. And he's available at 18. And the more I hear analysts talk about it, and I mean actual analysts that know what they're doing, draft scouts, people like that who actually know what they're talking about, the more I hear them explain, hey, listen, yeah, this is actually a realistic possible thing. the more I think he's going to be available. And I'll be honest, I mean, if he's available, Cincinnati's taking best player available. We already know that. This is not something new with them. They take best player available. Last year, they took Myles Murphy over Michael Mayer, over Sam Laporta, over all these other options because Myles Murphy was supposed to be a top 5 pick. He was projected to be a top 5 pick. Listen to Zach Taylor. He says he did not expect Myles Murphy to be available at pick 28. Nobody in the Bengals war room expected him to be available. If they don't expect him to be available, he's best player available. They take the best player. They took him. Will he work out? We'll see year 2. At the end of the day, though, that's what you do. That's what the Bengals do. So if we're pick 18 here, and there's Fuaga off the board, J.C. Latham off the board, and now with how Mims looked in the combine, he's off the board. Joe Alt's off the board. Penn State guy's off the board. Now you're starting to think, wait, all of these guys are going. Well, Brock Bowers still available. Best player available. So, see, I don't want to hype myself up because last year I was so... You guys, if you saw the draft, by the way, this year, if you're new, this year we're doing the same thing as last year. The draft, when it happens, it's a 3-day draft. I will be live for 4 hours every single day for the 4 hours of each draft. It's a long process, I promise you that. It gets crazy in the stream. I have my draft board up, who I want to go with. And I got so excited last year because I said, yes, we're getting ourselves a tight end. We're getting ourselves a tight end. We get ourselves a tight end. And we didn't get a tight end. We got Myles Murphy. And I was very disappointed, okay? And now I feel like I'm hyping myself back up to think, this is it. Brock Bowers is on the board. And you know what it feels like? This Brock Bowers pick, it feels like the Gibbs pick. When we all thought the Gibbs would be available at our pick last year, and we thought, well, that Michael Mayer would, and he was. Sam Laporta was as well. But we thought Dalton Kincaid might be available at our pick. And Gibbs wasn't available, Kincaid wasn't available, and we went Myles Murphy. And that's what this feels like. And I hate this feeling. Because it's like, you get so worked up because you're like, we're about to get ourselves a generational talent. And instead we end up with maybe a really good player. I hope a really good player. I have faith in Duke Tobin and Zach Taylor. They're going to get a really good player. But at the end of the day, it's like, is that mentality of like, okay, let's see what we get. We're not going to get this guy. You fall in love with a prospect and then you don't get the prospect. And then you mentally go, okay, it happens. Guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one. Peace.